Hello ladies and gentlemen, Average Gamer here, and today I wanted to do a little video mainly on changes. Changes, time, change the facts. Changes. It's my David Bowie impression. So time may change me, but I can change time. So yeah, don't quit my day job, I know. So what I thought was, with all the changes going on with the new rebalancing and the new mechs coming out and the possible, obviously, of the older battle mechs now coming out, like the Marauder, Warhammer, and all that stuff, figured lots of changes down the pipe. Community warfare and all that stuff. So I thought, what changes would I like to see? Now, before I get into this, I just want to say, yeah, I've played tons and tons of community warfare, tons of solo, tons and tons of group queue stuff. Tons and tons of private matches. I've played way too much time, spent too much money. Yeah. So, with all of that in mind, there's some changes I would like to see personally. Now, some of these ideas you might not like. Some of these ideas you might like. Doesn't mean they are right or wrong in any sort of fashion. No one here will be right, no one here will be wrong. There's just ideas, philosophies, so the scientific word starts with an H that I can't think of right now. Hypothesis of where I'd like to see things go, what I would like to see. So with that in mind, I thought of a couple of things. With all the changes, the balances, and all that stuff, that came to my first thing. What I'd like to see a bit change with that. First thing, not much. With the rebalancing, I know there's a couple of things they need to fix up, and they're working on them, so what they're doing, it seems to be so far so good. Lots of feedback is coming back and all that stuff. So, with that in mind, I think the way the game is, I like it. It's a little arcadey. Mention the... and what I mean by that is, there's still health. There's still the whole thing of, I'll go at you, you go at me, we grind each other's health down, we both die. World of Tanks does the same thing. War Thunder does the same thing. Two people come together, fire lots and lots of ammo at each other, do as much damage as they can to each other, grind each other down, and then poof, you're dead. So, what I was thinking was, what could change, but also keep it the same? I thought another game mode that's community warfare related, but also removes, but makes it for the better, in my eyes. So, well, first things first, I like the way the solo and group queue works. 12 people get together, goof around, muck around, have fun, earn some money, earn some XP, and there you go. Lots of fun for casual fun, lots of fun for serious fun, too. So, with that in mind, I thought that was okay. What I think they needed is a sim mode. Now, a more hardcore mode than what they have now, including more hardcore than that's community warfare. Because in my eyes, community warfare is still 12v12 group solo queue stuff, just with more distinct objectives. What I propose is to completely rework the community warfare. So you'd still have the map we have here in front of us, but it would change. It would look actually more like it is right now. But I mean, like, there's no explosions everywhere. With the new voting system they're going to be implementing into it, every group gets to attack one other group, and that's it. You can't attack, all six all at the same time, like Jade Falcon could right now if they wanted to. With that in mind, one of the things that I've come up with is an idea. That idea is there is 6 groups. So since each group can only attack once, that means only every team has to defend once. So theoretically, you'll have 6 battles going on, or 5 battles going on, or 2. I'm thinking that it's pretty much 1v1. So everyone in Razzlehag votes to attack Jade Falcon. We all attack Jade Falcon. If Karita votes to attack Razzlehag, but Smoke Jaguar votes to attack Karita, and there's more voters total for the Razzlehag to attack Smoke Jaguar. Smoke Jaguar and Razzlehag go duke it out. So with that in mind, with that theory behind where majority rules, we'll go with that. So say for example, it's six battles in total. So instead of seeing 200 something battles going on the right, it's 6. So with that in mind, the idea I have is this. You have 6 maps. Community warfare maps we have right now are kind of bland. It's more like a set-piece battle. What I was thinking was a dynamic war, meaning that every battle doesn't go on for 13 to 15 minutes. A battle lasts almost a week. It'll start out on Wednesday at midnight and go to Sunday at midnight. It's on one battlefield. Okay? So, the way this would work is the following. Every Tuesday, there'd be a vote on what group to attack. Or, sorry, on the Monday. Because that Sunday at midnight, it closes. Everyone, so it'd be starting on the Wednesday. So on the Monday, everyone votes to attack. So say, Razzlehag, we all vote to attack Karita. Okay. On Tuesday, we get to then vote on what planet to attack. Do we want to attack, Pum to Tear? So yeah, we all vote attack Pum to Tear. So we're all attacking Planet Potato. Because we all like vodka. Personally, I love potatoes. Double baked. With sour cream, bacon, and chives. Oh yeah, baby. A little bit of butter there. Okay, now I'm drooling a little bit. So, we're attacking Planet Potato. So there's going to be one battle. It's going to last from pretty much Wednesday at midnight to Sunday at midnight. So it's Wednesday. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 4 full days of fighting. No, Tuesday at midnight. Sorry. So we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 5 days out of fighting. Everyone gets the rewards on the Monday, so that they have 2 days to restock their weapons, or sorry, to buy anything they want, modules that they realize they need, more robots, what have you. Now, one of the ways I figure they can make all these things change is, firstly and foremost, the ammo. You should be able to pick your ammo for autocannons and LRMs. For example, LRMs, I should be able to pick either direct fire LRMs or indirect fire LRMs. With that I mean, for LRMs, I should be able to pick for direct fire LRMs, I'd actually directly lock on a target and hit the button, the missiles go at the target, obviously long range. With indirect LRMs, I can actually hit the V button. It'll put me in third-person view, but it'll be really, really high up. And I can actually move a cursor over a location, and it'll show me the size of the splash area of what I'm going to hit my LRMs with. So, if you want to hit a large area, you just kind of move your mouse around a little bit, it'll get bigger. Or you can also, with the plus and minus key, when you're just holding your mouse in a spot, when you just hold your mouse in a spot, it'll get smaller. Now you can also, once you get to that point, make it bigger by tapping the, say, for example, the plus button, and make it larger. Now this would be good for just artillery in general. Using your LRMs as long-range artillery for the game as I get into it. So I'm explaining these, and then I'll get into the type of actual game mode I'm talking about. The weapons kind of don't sound right until I get into that part, but we'll get into that part next. The next part is, should be able to pick different ammo types, such as high explosive anti-mech, instead of anti-tank, so ham rounds, wink wink, and armor piercing. So, something like that, right? That would be, really good. Now, all mechs of one chassis, so we'll pick, say, for example, the Enforcer, all have the same primary stats: turn rate, yaw rate, pitch rate, speed, engine size, armor, because they're all pretty much the same. Now, every variant of that mech will then have a positive quirk, two positive quirks and a negative quirk, but they will be kind of generic. So, for example, one will have a cooldown of +10, and the cooldown is for every weapon on it, doesn't matter what it is, and a yaw rate increase of 20%, and then it'll have the negative quirk of heat generation of 5. So you have a guy basically that can go in and brawl, but he's a little hotter than normal. You can also have quirks that give you more engine. So it'll be like max engine cap plus 20%, or plus engine cap 200. So instead of being able to put a 300 engine in it, you can put a 400 engine in it. You know, something like that, right? The other thing too is a change of the laser weapons. Now, lasers when they fire, right? You hit the button, they go for X set direction, and they turn off. Now, in sim mode, they work like a mask, right? You hit the button and mask turns on. You take your finger off the button, mask turns off, and it cools down, and then you can use it again. Lasers, same thing. So you can fire lasers a lot, like bum 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 bum. So there's no pulse. So pulse is kind of like an actual laser, or the solid laser. So pretty much you can get rid of the medium pulse altogether, the pulse weapons, in the sim altogether, because it's just an actual large laser. Or even the pulse just goes faster. It's kind of like pulse phasers in Star Trek, right? So, wow, I just got so nerdy right there. So basically you hit a button, the laser goes, you take your finger off, boom, the laser stops. Then it cools down, like the regular cooldown, right, like a mask, and you can fire it. Now, mind you, if you look at the progress bar of it, right, you can tap it again at any time, and it'll just start to overheat again. If you hold it too long, that bar will go from yellow, it'll fill up, and then it'll start flashing. You know that noise you get when you overheat? That sound? It'll start doing that with that weapon. It'll start flashing. Like, hey, you're holding this weapon on too long. And then the weapon itself will explode, cause a little bit of damage to your mech, but that weapon will go. Lasers, so pulse, for example, will fire a lot faster. So it'll be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Not bad, right? Like it'll still do that pinpoint damage. You still hold it, it'll do the same thing. It's just, you can also just pulse the large laser if you wanted to. Now it doesn't do the pinpoint damage the medium pulse does, so that there still is a medium pulse weapon, because you wouldn't want to get everything out of the way, right? So ignore what I said about getting rid of the medium pulse. Next part is the skill tree. Right now the skill tree is basically based on the robot, right? You work on the XP for that mech. You max out your thing on it as if you were driving that mech constantly, and all that stuff. The way the sim, in my eyes, would work is the following. You have multiple trees when you go to the skill tree. First one is mech specialist, then you have weapon specialist, and then system specialist. So you go to mech specialist, you select it. Now when you get your XP, it doesn't go to the mechs, it goes to you as a player. You then spend that XP on your skills as a pilot. So for example, you go to that one and you go, okay, I really like driving my mediums. So you click medium specialist. Boom, it says medium specialist. Now that doesn't mean you can't go back to the other ones. That just means you just happen to pick that one at this moment. You select that one, it unlocks the next batch below it. It'll kind of gray out the ones behind it, so it's not one huge clusterfuck of options. But so you select the medium mech option, and so then you have below that, some medium mech specialties. So you'll get medium mech maneuverability. Could be a skill you work on. You spend some XP on that. Whenever you're driving a medium mech, it's your player will give that mech a plus 0.2 or plus 2% to the maneuverability max. That's yaw, pitch, and turn rate. Another one will be medium engine specialist. When you go into it, you give the mech the speed tweak of an additional 2%, 20%, 13%. Now, that becomes generic, right? But then, after you've maxed out, once you have a level, say, of level 3, like you have to go through levels of each one, right? Well, 1 through 5, say, because it's what we already have. Once you've maxed one out, there's additional ones. It'll say, there'll be after after all that, there'll also be a chassis specialist option as well. Say a little higher up, so it'll go like, class specialist, then chassis specialist. So you can go, but you have to unlock these, right? So first you have to do your research on your mech specialist. Then you go into your type specialist. So you're like, okay, well, I want to specialize in mediums. Spend 1,000 XP on mediums. Now it says chassis specialist. Spend 1,000 XP on chassis specialist. Then it gives you the option, hey, what chassis do you want to be the specialist of? And boom, there's a list of all the mediums right in front of you. Then you click that mech, and then you spend your XP, on the ideas I just had, where it's turn rate, whatever, like that. And it's on the generic chassis, and you. Now, The way then the chassis separate is the positive negative quirks. So then, whenever you have a mech, right? Say the mech has, you know, the yaw rate increase, the cooldown increase, but the heat gen. But you as a player have that specialty where you have plus 20 to heat reduction, heat generation reduction. So now you negate that 5, it turns into 15. So you as a player have more effect than the quirks. So you yourself, being the person, can really make the difference. And by playing, you unlock more, you know, more stuff, and you get more better, right? Systems as well, not things like ECM, but you know, radar detection, sensor detection, speed differ detection, lock-on durations, how long it takes for someone to send, you know, lock on to you, you know, evasion specialist, things like that. So then, let's get into hero mechs, right? Hero mechs are just that. They're supposed to be the ultimate mech, right, of that chassis. So they'll also have your pilot quirks, but you have to unlock the hero mechs, specifically in your skill tree. So for me, I have a pretty baby, right? I couldn't just drop in a pretty baby in sim mode. I would have to unlock the ability to drive my hero pretty baby in sim mode. So say I'd have to unlock first assault specialist. Then I have to pick the awesome, specifically the awesome specialist. Then after that, I'd have to go, and it would show you. It'd say, okay, well, to get pretty baby, you'd have to get to large laser level 4, engine level 4, sensor level 3 for the awesome, and I don't know, something else. Then you go through these 4 or 5 different things, unlock it, then spend XP on the pretty baby, and then boom, I can use pretty baby in sim mode. Every other mech you can run, doesn't matter, just hero mechs are like that. Then hero mechs will also have the quirks or the skills that you have as a player. They'll also have the generic quirks of the basic Atlas, or sorry, the awesome. So we'll say, for example, so you know, turn rates, torso twists, pitch, yaw, heat generation, or sorry, yeah, heat generation, armor, engine cap, you name it. But then as a hero mech, it'll have those bonuses on top of it, just like every other quirk, right? So it'll have like it'll have cooldown plus 10, heat generation, you know, minus this. But like most of them it'll be basically doubled, right? Instead of having 2 positive, 1 negative, it'll have 4 positive generic quirks and 2 negative. But then on top of that, it will have 2 specific positives and 1 specific negative. So say for the awesome, it'll have cooldown plus 10, range plus 10, pitch and yaw minus 2%. So that's cooldown plus 10, heat generation minus 10. So it creates less heat. It weapons cool down a lot faster. Pitch and yaw plus 10. So that's 4 right there, right? Pitch and yaw. Left and right. You can look left and right a lot faster. For negative quirks, or no, sorry, we'd have to actually knock one of those in, put an engine, right? An engine quirk would give it the ability to have a bigger engine. So it'd have pitch and yaw as 1, and then engine cap plus, because I think it starts out with a 300, so it'd have a plus 175. So that means the max engine in an awesome pretty baby could be 475. I think. I don't know. But I digress. And then it would have 2 negative quirks. First one would be, we'll say speed minus 10%. Because, you know, it's going to be able to carry it a lot or whatever. And then it'll have another quirk of some other negative quirk. Then it'll have specific quirks, as I said. So it'll have like large laser, cooldown plus 2, or plus 10%, and SRM focus or clustering, or you know how they get closer together, spread, sorry, you know, plus 10. So they get the large lasers go further, can fire faster, and SRM missiles are closer and clustered together, right? And then the negative ones would be like, I don't know, large laser, I don't know, earlier when I said you hold them for charging time, or large laser duration minus 2%, meaning that the amount of time you can hold that button to fire the laser is reduced by 2%. So it cools down a lot faster, but that's only because you can fire it a lot quicker. So it's kind of everything is trade-offs, right? Like, everything will be realistic. Like, you can turn a lot more and fire a lot more, but that's going to cause a lot of friction. So your heat's up. Things like that. I'm getting a bit of a rant. So, with all that in mind, this brings into the whole, like, the next section. What would be exactly these battlefields, right? The once-a-week battle. Basically what it would be is a large map, enough for, say, I don't know, 30-some-odd players, maybe? Or even more, a couple hundred maybe, 100 on either side. What you do, or even more, because you make these maps just huge. You make 6 of them. That's all you need, just 6. So basically, all they need to do is do 6 matches, and just have everyone piled into them. To be honest with you, it wouldn't be that hard. Like I said, War Thunder does it. So I mean, so what would happen? Well, what these would be. Basically, you're capped on your mechs. Basically speaking is, the mech you can drop in, you can only drop in that mech unless it's been destroyed. Meaning that once it's destroyed, it's unavailable to you for 24 hours. So you kind of have a different stable, so to speak, than like, how when you play in, regular matches, you go to select mech. If a mech is in a match, it'll say in-game. In this case, it'll say destroyed, and then below that it'll have a countdown. So 24-hour countdown for the exact time it got destroyed. Now, with that in mind, there'll be a cap on types of mechs as well, right? Just so that one side doesn't drop in, like, say, for example, all direwolves or all atlases or whatever. It'll be fair. It'll cap the match at X amount of assaults, X amount of heavies, X amount of mediums, X amount of lights. Just to keep the game fair. Obviously, that can be tweaked. There's no limit per player how many times they drop. So for me, I got 75 different mechs. That means, theoretically, if every single one of my mechs got destroyed, I could drop at least 75 times. One time in each one. Which is pretty good, which is really fair in my eyes. Because at the end of this whole thing, you get money, you can buy more. And obviously rewards would be mech bays and things like that. And everything's only destroyed for 24 hours. So, I mean, theoretically, you're probably only playing for like 3 or 4 hours. So depending on how good you are, you may only need 1 mech a day, right? Me, I would probably need the full 75 for a day. With that in mind, couple things for the map itself. So it'll be a huge map with forward operating bases and a main spawn point. So when you pick a map, right, or when you pick to fight in the battle for say Free Razzlehag versus Karita, you have 2 options. One is to drop towards a forward operating base that has been captured, and you can drop into we call it a hot drop, which means it could be it's a contested zone. It's not safe. Safe drop would be the spawn point, which is completely protected and will be completely retarded for someone to run from one side of the map to the other, because of just how armored it is and how easily defended it is by the AI. The AI will have a massive and a stupid superiority to the point where it will cheat a little bit because it will see you coming and will just kill you, basically, with missiles and lasers and you name it, sentry guns that you cannot destroy. No matter how hard you try, they have unlimited health. That's to protect spawn points as the be-all to end-all fortification. If you've lost and gotten all the way into that spawn point, and the only thing holding you back, or the only thing holding the bad guys back, the other team back, is those automated weapons, you're pretty toast. So with the forward operating bases, there's a couple things I'd like to see. First one would be upgradable defenses. What happens is you capture a base, right? You start collecting for the forward operating bases capture points and victory points. Now with capture points, it's not a team capture point. It's a personal player capture point. Now the player has the ability to carry these over from battle to battle to battle if they want, even mech to mech to mech. It's a player specific. So in the bottom left hand corner here we have, money and C-bills and all that stuff. When you're in the faction tab, it will have your victory points below, say, faction loyalties, and your capture points. Now, your victory points are also like your loyalty points, right? That's how many points that the team gets itself to win. Like basically, the little capture points. So, for example, you capture a forward operating base alpha. For every hour that's controlled, Team A gets a victory point of, say, 2 or 10. Now, that doesn't mean when you hit 100, you win. There's no the time frame is Sunday at midnight. Whoever has the most victory points wins. Capture points are then used by the player to upgrade bases. So, for example, you can upgrade a base with a supply depot. So, if, say, for example, you're running a ammo-heavy weapon, ammo-heavy mechs, you spend your capture points on a supply depot at a specific fob. You know then that you can go there and get weapons. Now here is the part where there's a bit of a reward for you using your points. Every time another player goes to that and rearms themselves, you get a bonus. So say on Sunday you capture a point. You've been saving up these capture points. You've captured a forward operating base. You've been you have the capture points all saved up. You're like, I'm going to spend the money and get a supply depot. You put it down there. It'll show on the map to everybody. Hey, there's a supply depot at forward operating base alpha. So if you need LRMs, autocannons, autocannon ammo, any type of ammo, or UAVs, or artillery strikes, or airstrikes, you go over there, and it'll reload you up. As a player, you'll get charged for those being used to your overall at the end of the game. Like the Monday when you get your rewards, it'll negate. So if you end up using like 90 rounds of 90 artillery rounds, it'll even tell you, hey, just so you know, it'll actually give you a confirmation. It says, just so you know, to pay for this now, but when you get your reward on Monday, this will negate it. This will go against it. So you can get a supply depot. You can also spend capture points on defenses. Turrets, sensor systems, artillery systems, repair facilities. You also get bonuses for that. So at the end of your reward system, on the Monday, it'll tell you, hey, 1,000 players, or 1,000 times, supply depot that you built at Alpha, forward operating Alpha was utilized. So it was used 1,000 times. You get 1,000 C-bills for every single time someone used it. Repair facility, same thing. Every time someone used it, you get 1,000 C-bills. So it kind of makes people help each other by building these things. Same thing with turrets and sensor systems. If you build these on a fob using your capture points, you get a bonus for every weapon or for every mech that's damaged. So for every point of damage that one of your turrets do, or artillery does, or what have you, it will give you a set amount of C-bills. So say for every 1 point of damage, it gives you 100 C-bills. The more you upgrade those weapons, the more damage it'll do, right? Sometimes you may upgrade them, and the base doesn't even get attacked, right? So you may not, it's one of those things. Sensor system, same thing. Upgrade the sensor system, it detects bad guys, and you get bonuses for that. Basically like spotting. So it works like that, right? Now, what happens is every time you're in a match, you don't get your bonuses right away. Especially when you're doing certain things, everything's long term, right? So what happens is every time you end a match, whether you're destroyed or whether you just decide, you go back to the FOB and you're like, you know what, I'm done. You retreat back to the FOV, and there will be a drop point in the middle of every FOB. The FOB, once you get there, it'll say, are you wanting to swap out your mech? Like, you have to go there and hit a button, like like the K or whatever to eject. But if you hit a button on there, it's like a dropship will either come get you or swap out your mech. If you pick leave, so it'll be leave or swap. Pretty much those two options. Because when you're in the repair facility, it'll give you options of repairing, or modifying, which means you can swap out different weapons. So if you're noticing your medium range hunchback is really getting owned by someone on the other side with lots of long range weapons, you can swap out your medium weapons for anything in your personal inventory. So that's pretty good. So basically, it just brings you to the Mech Lab screen. So with that in mind, you have to be able to leave. If you leave, or if you die, you just get a set amount of XP and money. So you get automatically 100 grand C-bills and 100 XP. Now the XP will be different, as I said earlier, with a whole different tree, so the values would all be different. But that's the way it sits up, right? That's the way it would work. Then at the end, on Monday morning, when you log in, it'll be like Christmas. You log in and it'll say, okay, you played all 5 days. You destroyed 37 mechs. You did 45,000 damage. You helped capture FOB Alpha, Charlie, Bravo, and Delta. You built a supply depot. You built a sensor, a sensor facility at base Bravo. You built a repair facility at Delta. You joined in the random... Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Random events, too. So that it's not just everyone attacking the FOBs, it's random events, too, right? To kind of keep everyone on their toes and not just attack the forward operating bases. Because the whole plan of the game would be to capture your victory points. Victory points for the FOBs would be like, say, 10 per day, right? So you get 10 victory points for holding a FOB for the day. But during the day, there are random events that are worth 30 or 40 victory points. Those are what you really want, right? So it'll be like, randomly on a map, boom, a dropship crashes, and all of a sudden it'll say to everyone on one side, hey, our dropship crashed, you need to hold it for 24 hours and defend it for 24 hours. From the other side, because it's got something, experimental equipment and weapons on it. The other side will get a notification saying, hey, one of their dropships carrying a bunch of shit crashed. We need to attack it. We have 24 hours to attack it and destroy it. Just destroy it, right? So the winner of that gets, say, 50 victory points to go against their total for Monday. So you get, bonuses for that too, right? So it also says, if you were part of that, right? Obviously you get kills and destruction anyways, but if you're on the winning side, you'd get, say, X amount of C-bills. If you're on the losing side, you'd still get some C-bills because you were still part of that event. You'd have to basically opt into the event, not just be on the map, to kind of beat people from just, being douchey and being AFK. You would actually have to go into a general area, kind of like how you do in Destiny for public events, and be an active mech. So if you power down at any time, like actually hit P, and you just sit there or you're inactive, sorry. So you don't have to hit P, but you're just, even if you go into an area, then you're just sitting there inactive for a while. If you don't move or anything for 5 to 10 minutes, it just boots you out of the event. Even if you're just doing reconnaissance or scouting, you'd still be moving your, moving around a little bit and looking. So, with that in mind, that's all the ideas, right? Get capture points, use capture points to upgrade bases for facilities, for repair facilities, support facilities with turrets, sensor systems, artillery, supply bases, things like that. So that's one of the ideas. Then basically, the random events and stuff like that. So that's the idea I have, right? That's an idea that they can replace community warfare with. It's dynamic. It's also something that you can drop into any time. I mean, look right now. There's 50 players on. There's 25 clan and 29 inner sphere right now, right? So, I mean, you could have those guys playing right now. That'd be my phone. Sorry about that. You could have those guys playing on one big map. And I can just turn around and hit a button and just hop in right now with them. Run around a little bit, do some scouting with a ECM Raven, and then boom. Hop back out. Get myself some XP, get myself some C-bills, and there you go. So there's just an idea I have. So thanks for listening. If you're still listening, if you have any ideas or any modifications to my ideas, give me a heads up. Tell me what you think, what you want, what you go to bed. Just doing video, old man. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Any ideas you have, give me a heads up. Put them in the comments. I do read every single comment that comes across my my channel. Forewarning. But anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Many videos coming out in the future, and I hit the wrong button there. So anyways, thanks for watching. Oh, and also, if you don't like it and you hit dislike, tell me why. Just so I know what to do next time to make you happy, because I want to make everyone happy. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you guys all on the battlefield next time. Bye-bye.